So life's weather is unpredictable, and sometimes it kind of just sweeps us up. Sometimes it takes us over. It takes us into a complete storm that we get thrown into a tornado and we get thrown freaking miles out. And it's hard to reel yourself back in. It's hard to bring yourself back in because you don't know when these things are going to hit, when these hard emotions are going to hit, these hard feelings are going to take you and absolutely whirlwind you into somewhere you can't imagine you could have ever been. But how do we bring ourselves back? So I want to share something with you guys that I've actually been building in order to help me think about this better, think about this perspective better. Because, these feelings suck. It sucks when you're getting taken one way or another and you don't know what to do. You don't know how to bring yourself back. But what if we stop looking at the feelings as something that we can completely control, and we stop putting our attention towards that, and we start putting our attention to God's will? God's will as the anchor that's going to keep us firm despite all the storms and the weather that is going to be changing day by day. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes trying to control it just gets us anxious. It just gets us stressed because we feel like, I want to control this. I want to be able to have some type of control here. But there's just not always something you could do about a certain feeling. Some things are just going to elicit those strong feelings in you. But there's something that I saw in the movie called Fury. Fury, it was an amazing movie. And at the end of this movie, they're all in a tank. And Shia LaBeouf and Brad Pitt's character are sitting there. And there's Nazi soldiers closing in on them. They're all about to freaking die. They know that they're about to die, basically. And Brad Pitt's character, after being an a-hole the entire movie, he looks at Shia LaBeouf's character and he tells him that the evil desires of the world will pass away in time. But the man who does the will of the Father will live forever. And at the same time, they both repeat forever. It's something that really freaking stuck with me. And I think the reason it stuck with me is because these evil desires and the things of this world are going to pass away in time. These things that try to control us, try to take us back and forth, to create doubt in our head and really bring us back, bring us down. They are going to pass away. But the will of the Father is the anchor that we can hold on to, because we know if we continue to do the will of the Father every single day, that we're going to be, we don't even have to do that every single day because Jesus has already died for our sins and we're going to be in heaven. But if we continue to anchor ourselves in doing the will of the Father because we are so grateful to Jesus for that, we're going to be completely fine. We're going to be fine. And I think hope as an anchor, there's another verse in the Bible. It's called Hebrews 6:19, and it talks about hope as the anchor. Hope is going to sustain us day by day. If you could use hope as the anchor, the hope in the God's will is going to continue to sustain us. That God, as long as we continue to follow God's will, that He's going to be able to keep us where we need to be, and we're going to be in an eternal place at the end of our lives. Then we don't have to worry so much. That gives us hope day by day. You don't got to worry and be taken and flown away by these feelings every single day. You know what I'm saying? But, I think it's more of like a daily anchoring type of thing. Like it's like something where we have to anchor ourselves in that daily. So for myself, I try to always, everything that I'm doing with my videos, with anything, with my goals that I set, I try to anchor them in God. I try to ask myself, how can I glorify and do God's will through this? And, you got to know God's will a little bit first. You got to read the Bible. You got to ask yourself, who is Jesus and what would He want me to do here? But once you start being able to anchor your stuff in that every single day, you feel way better because you know that you're doing God's will day by day. You're trying to do God's will day by day. And I think it leads you to where you need to be, because I'm probably at the best place I've ever freaking been right now. And I feel like God has led me there step by step, because in everything I do, I always ask myself, what can I do to make this about God? What can I do to help glorify God, to bring glory to heaven by doing what I'm doing every single day? It's just small little tweaks that you can do to what you're doing to make sure that you're anchored in that. And for myself, that gives me a lot of juice in what I'm doing. That gives me a lot of energy in what I'm doing. And I'm super excited to bring that every day. So for yourself, how can you do that? How can you anchor whatever you're doing currently in God's will? Like, how can you make sure that you're doing it for God? Because it's going to help you make that anchor stronger, help you make that structure stronger. Next time a feeling comes up, you ain't got to worry about it. You know you're good because you're doing God's will every single day. I love you guys. Hope you have an amazing day. Hope you're doing God's will today. If you decide that you're going to tweak something up, let me know what it is that thing that you're tweaking up to make it for God's will. Let me know what it is in the comments. Love you guys. Hope you have an amazing day, week. Peace.